Affairs at the Financial Planning Institute. Thank you for joining us, David.
Thank you very much.
We've just been talking about state-owned entities, and everybody's having problems with finances, big companies. So I guess it's fair enough that individuals struggle.
Yeah, most definitely. I think with the economic pressure that's happening, with food and petrol rising, people are struggling to make ends meet. I think there's more month at the end of the money than there is money at the end of the month.
Always.
Yes.
How did you mark this week, and how were those free consultations received?
So far we've been very happy. Obviously it's the last day of the week today, so we still need to gather all our data. But we have had many of our practices participating around the country on a voluntary basis. So we're happy with the outcome so far. In addition to the one-on-one consultations, we have hosted many financial education workshops. Which is not something we only do during the week. We do that throughout the year to anyone who wants to participate.
Which seems so necessary. Just tell me about this finding that less than 30% of South Africans feel that they are knowledgeable about financial affairs.
So financial affairs, and particularly when it comes to financial planning and financial products, it's quite a complex environment sometimes. Some of those products that are developed are quite complex and difficult to understand. So people don't have a sense of comfort that they know exactly where and what they need to do. And that's where a certified financial planner professional can help out. The first role that they do is they educate and they guide a consumer into understanding their finances and what strategies they need to put in place in order to meet their financial goals. How would you, let's get some free advice. So I know it's often said, where do you start? Look at your debt, but what are the basic tenets that we need to reiterate this week? So I think your first starting point is put a budget in place. If you're planning a trip for a holiday, you're not going to start without getting a map and understanding what your destination looks like and what your budget is to do that. So you need to understand what your income is, what your expenses are, and really what's left at the end of that. That will also help you identify if there is money left at the end of your expenses and what expenses you need to look and manage. After that, you can start looking at your debt situation and making sure that your debt is under control. And once you've looked at your debt, start setting yourself some goals. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have something you're working towards, you're never going to get there.
And at what point do you need a professional to help you?
So we would recommend that as soon as you start it, employ the services of a professional. So get a certified financial planner professional on board with you and let them help you put the structure in place. Remember, financial planning is not about buying a financial product. Okay, that's a step that comes right at the end of the process. The first is get them to help you educate you, get them to answer your questions that might be concerning you, and then move on to putting a structure in place where your solutions and your products can be bought.
You've raised the right point, because a lot of people are suspicious that if you go to someone, they are being paid by the insurance companies, by the investment companies, so they're going to lead you in a certain way. How can you find an independent person or ensure that they're giving you independent advice?
Okay, so the environment is changing quite dramatically, where planners are now starting to charge fees for their services. But again, it's up to you as a consumer to decide what the right way is about paying your financial planner. Yes, the commission structures are still there, and as long as you understand exactly what those commissions are and how that influences their advice, no problem. Okay.
So you can just be transparent at the beginning of the consultation.
Be transparent,
and say,
understand how your planner gets paid. But obviously we'd recommend going onto the FPI's website.
Is there any onus on the financial planner to reveal that information up front?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
It's a legal requirement that they actually disclose their commissions and fees. And in terms of establishing the relationship with you, the planner should be open and upfront in terms of how they are getting paid and what their fee structures look like.
Some very independent planners, I'm not exactly sure, but I know for retirement, you can pay tens of thousands of rands and you get a really good plan, and that's if you've got a stash set aside. Somebody was asking me the other day, where do I begin? Say you're mid-career, you don't have that stash, but you want to pick property versus stocks, things like that. Is it worth paying the fee?
Yes, it most definitely is worth paying.
And how much are you looking at? If you just purely advice and you don't really have the assets to back you up yet?
So again, there are planners who have different business models out there. So I'm aware of planners who charge as little as 30 Rand a month
all the way up to the 10s and 20,000 rand for developing a financial plan. So the idea is to interview a few planners, find out how they charge, and find one that works into your financial situation. There are tons of models.
And how do you even start that process? So what website do you go to?
Yeah, okay, so we'd recommend first place is go onto the Financial Planning Institute's website, fpi.co.za, and search for a certified financial planner professional on that site. That is a financial planner who has gone through a process of getting a postgraduate qualification, as well as demonstrating that they've got 3 years worth of experience in giving financial advice. So we'd recommend that as your starting point.
Right.
But what you must also do, particularly if they're selling products, go onto the Financial Services Board website and make sure that they are licensed and registered to give product advice.
Do you think South Africans are getting any better? What's been a real problem is those hidden, not just financial products, every product you buy now, when you buy things on credit, the hidden fees, the interest charges that you need a certain educational base to understand. Are we becoming more financially literate? Are the companies becoming more regulated and is more required of them in explaining what's going on?
Yeah. So I think that regulation is one side of the coin, and that is taking place to make sure that fees are disclosed in a much more understandable way, and particularly on the credit side, that you understand exactly what you're going to get into. So that 1,000 Rand product that you're buying is actually going to end up costing you 3,000 Rand. But financial education is also something that's very important to us at the FPI, and we participate in national initiatives, but we also run something called the FPI My Money 123 program, and that is a basic financial literacy program to teach people how to budget, how to manage their debts, and how to make those buying decisions.
I support that. We've got to let you go, but very quickly, what do you think is the number one mistake that people make? What should you avoid?
So the number one mistake is not having a goal. Okay. If you don't know what you want to achieve, then you would fall for any product sale. If you know what you want to achieve, you can see how the solutions and products fit into helping you meet that goal.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. David Kop from the Financial Planning Institute.